Hey, thanks for checking us out. This is Sports and Other Stuff. You can find us on Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. We have a new episode every week. We have more than 100 in the can, so check it out. Thanks for being a part of it. Just subscribe. Thanks a million.
T-Dog, J-Boy, and me, I'm Lugs. Our pride and joy is pumping our mugs. Be careful, kids, it could get rough. We're flipping our lids on sports and other stuff.
Welcome to Sport Weasel Central. I'm Lugs.
I'm J-Boy.
And I'm T-Dog.
Yes, fellas, good to see you. How you doing? The 272-game NFL schedule is out. 5 international games, including Germany for the first time. Thursday Night Football is now on Amazon. And some Monday Night Football games return to ABC, just like they started. And with the Christmas Day schedule, the NFL has pretty much told the NBA, we're taking over, your time is done. Good to see you, boys. We're 4 months away from the opening kick. But once again, Roger Goodell has created some great theater with endless matchups to chat about. Oh, and that's what we do best. Hello, Lugs. What's happening?
Well, the NFL marketing department has sort of outdone themselves for the first weekend kickoff. I would just say the Bills-Rams, what a way to do it. And then you'll have on Monday Night Football, Russell Wilson goes back to Seattle. It's just a feast for football fans for sure. But that's sort of a moment to start with. What do you think, Dog?
I think, I think definitely Bills Rams. What a way to kick it off. I mean, it might be a preview of the Super Bowl. Then I just love also just the intrigue in terms of like going back a few years of Bengals versus Dolphins. You have the 2020 QB battle, Burrow versus Tua. And also you have with it too, Chase and Higgins versus Hill and Waddle. So that should be just a dynamic, explosive game between two offenses. And clearly one of those games where either of those quarterbacks can say this game doesn't really matter. They remember who's all those guys always remember who they're drafted with, and they always want to beat them. Not that they dislike them, but they just want to prove that they're the best of that
competitive
class.
Nature, baby. Competitive nature.
So
I have one question about Miami and Tua with Hill there. Tua doesn't throw down the field, let's say, consistently. Is that going to be a problem, or will we finally see Tua get to have a receiver that can get downfield?
No, he had one last year. He had Waddle. Waddle can get downfield. I just think it comes down to if they can improve the offensive line. They got Trevon Armstead from New Orleans Saints, so that'll help some. I mean, still you have to fix the other parts of the line because defenses will be like, all right, we can't apply pressure on the left side, so we're just going to send all the pressure on the right side. So I don't know if that'll completely do away with the problem, but I think Tua can throw downfield. I know that one thing was on social media where he underthrew. And obviously, look, he doesn't have Mahomes' arm, but it's not fair to Tua to be acting like he does. I mean, clearly Miami could have had Herbert, who has a Mahomes-level arm, but they didn't, and it's best not to keep looking back. They can only look forward. So
that's called the Mitchell Trubisky draft, right? You don't want to look too far back. A one, a two, a three. Get it? One, a two. Hey, I'm really looking forward to week one. You guys missed it completely. Packers at Vikings. That will decide right there. NFC North, right there. Game one, week one.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Let's just go ahead and put $1 on this right off the bat. Let's be honest. Aaron Rodgers owns the Vikings.
It's in the U.S. Bank Stadium. It is not in the Tundra.
I don't think they own the Vikings. They do own the North. They usually end up on top, but right. I don't think they own the Vikings. Right. They own the other two teams, but they don't own the Vikings.
Hey, as long as your favorite quarterback is at the Vikings, They're going to be owned.
New head coach, new OC. Plus, the Vikings got the Christmas night game. I was shocked by that. The Vikings are on that one. So Christmas, I think, is amazing. Just talking about the schedule overall. It's like, are you kidding me? NBA, is that even going to be on the air?
I mean, where will it be on the air?
Well, TNT, I guess.
To be fair to your point, I think last year the highest rated game that they had all year was Browns Packers on Christmas Day.
Right.
So that's the reason why. And they used to respect that day. That's the NBA's day. And then they started probably seeing those numbers, and that's why they started.
Is there such a thing as respect anymore between the leagues? I don't
dollars.
So. I don't think so. Anyway, that was my just go ahead, take away on that. Jeez. See ya, NBA. Bye-bye.
I think Jerry Jones in Dallas had a hand in the scheduling. Have you seen Dallas's schedule? My goodness. The last like 5 or 6 weeks, they play, just all the AFC South people that, come on, boys, we could put together a pickup team and at least be competitive against these folks. And Washington is sort of the same. I was just looking at the schedule. So the NFC East, I mean, Washington and Dallas, they should dominate just from schedule alone.
Well, I mean, is Dallas or Washington the team to beat in the East? I mean,
who are you talking?
Well, it's not the Giants. What are you talking?
Well, yeah, it's not the Giants. So
the Eagles.
Yeah.
Well, the Eagles are being painted as having a very favorable schedule this year by many, that they came out on top with this schedule. So I don't know.
Well, this will be the thing. I'll be rah Eagles. So just when I kill them later, like it's not me being a hater. I just think they added Bradbury today. So they have Bradbury and they have Big Game Slay. There's 2 starting corners. They have a very talented defensive line. And Jalen Hurts isn't a consistent thrower. That is obviously the big weakness on their team to some degree. But they have A.J. Brown. They have Devontae Smith. They have a good running attack that involves Hurts, but obviously a multitude of running backs. So, like, they're going to be in it. And I don't know. Dallas lost some big pieces. I mean, Gallup is coming back from an injury. They have CeeDee Lamb. They lost Amari Cooper. So I don't know how it's easy just to – and they also they lost one pass rusher to Denver. So it's not to act like they're going to just run it back. And also, if you look at history, kind of like Zimmer when he was at Minnesota, I'm not going to say it completely follows this pattern. Dallas, usually when they have a good year, they follow it by a disappointing year.
So Lugs, you like the boys to win the East, and I think T-Dog likes the Eagles to win the East, but we'll save our predictions for later in the summer. But
yeah,
that's a battle. Yeah. That's a battle right there.
But just looking at the schedule right off the top, that was what sort of stuck out to me.
You're taking that Benadryl, aren't you, man? You're taking some serious Benadryl right now.
Well, you know what I'm saying. Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Know-It-All. Go ahead, Todd.
I think my favorite thing in terms of usually the schedule, particularly going with primetime games, the main thing I like looking at is looking at who the league values, and they can say whatever they want. By how they have people positioned indicates who they value. And it also indicates I think the health of the league and how the NFL sees it to some degree. And this year, definitely, they projected it as the haves and the have-nots, because I could be wrong, and maybe I just haven't looked thoroughly enough at other years. This year, there are 13 teams that have 5 primetime games. 5.
Yeah.
For 13 teams. There's only 14 teams that make the playoffs. So, they're putting all their bushels in these teams mattering, and then the rest of the league, the other 19, they're kind of there to some degree. So, and all of them, for the most part, you can see Buffalo makes sense. Tampa Bay with Tom Brady makes sense. Bengals with Burrow, Packers with Rodgers, Broncos with the new Russell Wilson, Kansas City Chiefs with Mahomes, Chargers even with Herbert, and LA Rams with the champs. The ones that kind of stick out to me a little bit and I understand because of also their success is New England, because of Belichick and the success they've had. I still find that kind of weird. They're getting 5 primetime
A
games.
team you love to hate, though, and people love to hate him, and that's good drama.
That's a good point. And similarly for Cowboys, they're polarizing.
Right.
Either you love them or you hate them.
Yep.
Dak Prescott also should be is an attraction. So like he is added into
He's
that
a
too.
headline. Yep.
Now, like I said, this is where I get probably the hate. The Eagles, they made the playoffs last year, but they weren't a great team. I think maybe they can build off of last year, but they're getting 5 primetime games. And I just think, man, that's a lot for that team. And then the other one that really sticks out to me that has 5 is Pittsburgh. I mean, they have either Trubisky, and look, we all defend Trubisky to some level, but it's like you're giving 5 primetime games to either Trubisky or Kenny Pickett. And I know they have a great coach in Tomlin and a very talented defense, but man,
You're saying first quarter, you're out?
I don't think they're even going to make the playoffs with the Ravens and the Bengals. So I don't know. And the other team is the 49ers, which they have a fun offense. So I'm going to give them a pat. And also they almost made the Super Bowl last year. So like I said, those were the only teams that kind of stuck out to me that were.
Well, I heard an interview with senior VP of the NFL, Howard Katz, and he's the schedule guru. He's been around forever. And it was very interesting. He was very open, but he said they don't ask for any team's approval, nor tell them what they're going to do. So the teams have no effect or have no choice in what they get, other than some things like where our stadium's not available because of a concert or our stadium's not available because of a bowl game. But other than that, the NFL tells them what to do, which I find fascinating. I thought it was more of a two-way street. It is not.
I don't know if I believe that.
Okay, you didn't buy the company line?
I don't. You've got billionaires running those clubs. Those boys are used to having their say. But it doesn't matter. What really matters is the product that they put on the field and on the air is what is the most important. And they know how to do that. Their choices this year are pretty amazing. I mean, you start out, if we go back to week 1, you start out with Kyler Murray and Mahomes. That's a pretty interesting matchup. And then you can go to week 4 and you've got Mahomes and Brady. I mean, it's like I said, it's a feast for football, just because even though Brady is not the Brady he once was, that team is competitive top to bottom. And I don't know what Bruce Arians' role is in all of that. Who knows? But anyway,
those boys, water, I think.
The NFL guys, they know what they're doing. I mean, gosh, man, could you? It's basically you get to print money. Every Monday, you can just roll out those Benjamins all you want to, because that's where the money is now in broadcast. It really is.
Yeah, this new schedule kicks in this year, and we know how much that's worth. So you're right.
And I don't know. Just kind of like looking at the other like primetime games, I was just going to say, like, there's 4 teams that have 4 primetime games: Colts, Tennessee Titans, Raiders, Cardinals.
It sounds like market size driven there, because those are not your largest markets, maybe.
I think that's true, but still getting 4 for those. They all have interesting offenses and unique talents. And either Jonathan Taylor for the Colts, Derrick Henry for the Titans, Devontae Adams. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And yeah, you're right. Matty Ice going to a new place. And obviously Kyler Murray and like some of the pieces in Arizona. Then 3 primetime games. The Saints somehow have 3, and I get it. Probably for the people who broadcasting, they just want to go to New Orleans. I honestly think that's a big part of it. I know they think they're going into the Super Bowl, but I just look at parts of that team. And
Hurricane road trip, let's go.
Baltimore, which I think they're undervalued, and I know we'll talk about who wins divisions or what. Like, I think. Kind of look at how the NFL views Baltimore having 3 games. I think that's a little suspect. I'll put it that way. And Chicago, again, it's just because it's a large city. I mean, they're like we've talked about it a few times. They're rebuilding. They have some interesting pieces, but they're not. I don't even think that the people running the team are expecting to contend.